in some ways, I suppose, lifetime achievements and careers. They were just all subject to the 2-year work contract, and they had no ground, no leg to stand on, because all they were, in the Australian government's view, were labourers and domestics, whereas British migrants never had a work contract imposed on them. Their only obligation, if they were granted assisted passages, was to stay in Australia for 2 years, or, if they had to go, to repay the government assistance toward their outward passage. Well, the Europeans had to work as directed, and if they didn't stay for 2 years, of course, they too had to repay the Australian government contribution toward their outward passage to Australia.
Now, what was the official explanation of that categorisation of people into labourers and domestics?
I think it reflects the wish of the government of the day, concerned to rebuild Australia, to catch up on those wartime years of neglect, and to particularly boost employment in the building industry, with home building and so on. It reflects their wish to have a mobile, readily available labour force. Hence the provision of immigration centres such as Bonegilla, Greta, Skyville, Woodside, Holden and others, where migrants under contract could be held, and perhaps given the opportunity to learn English, but could be held until employers wanted them. Whether it was the grapes ripening at Mildura, or the sugar cane ready to be harvested in Queensland, or BHP at Whyalla needing foundry workers, or Trans-Australia Railways needing fecklers. It suited the government of the day, and indeed successive non-Labor governments, to have a pool of migrant labour ready to be sent wherever they were needed, and obliged to stay there for 2 years.
So it does seem to imply that Australia did need brawn more than brains. Was that true, though?
Yes, I think in those early years, the main motive was the need for labour. It was more, in fact, an economic proposition or economic investment than it was anything else, although in the rhetoric of the day you will read that for defence purposes Australia had to have a much greater population. We should never be caught like we were in 1939 and so on, the defence argument. There's also the humanitarian argument that Australia should be relieving other countries of the burden of overpopulation and helping to resettle refugees out of camps, and Australia, as a member of the international community, had its humanitarian obligations. But behind all the rhetoric, I think the real gain was seen in terms of the brawn and the brain, or the language or cultural attributes that refugees and migrants might bring them, were just a sort of a side issue, and nobody, back in those years of the 40s and 50s, nobody thought they mattered very much.
Never miss a moment with SBS On Demand. You can stream your favourite channels live, anytime, on any device. Same shows, same times, always free. Stream now on SBS On Demand.